Hello and welcome to Inside the Mind of, a podcast where I dive deeper into the minds of some of my favorite people and people who inspire me in the wrestling community. Today I have the host and founder of Wrestling Winedown, as well as Life of a Wrestling Fan, Chardonnay and Cheesemay. Hopefully I'm saying that right. And fresh off a Roman Reigns interview, the incredible, the lovely Lo. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
I think we gotta talk. We gotta talk about the Roman Reigns thing. It just happened. So when this goes out tomorrow, it'd been like 2 days.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about how that kind of happened?
Yeah, sure. This press conference that they were having here in Las Vegas was extremely last minute. And I had put out a tweet asking like what time it was at, where it was at, and I saw it was at Resorts World, which is probably like 15, 20 minutes away from me.
Okay.
And then one of my friends, he actually was our first guest that we ever had on Wrestling Wind Down. Damon, he actually he works on one of the talk radio stations here.
Okay.
He gave me the information and was like, email this person and let them know that you want to come. So I did. The guy got back to me. I was just like, shocked because usually, with media and stuff, you have to be like with a Fox or like a
Mm-hmm.
CNN or, a Business Insider or something popular or, that gains a lot of traction. And,
Yeah.
we do gain a lot of traction online. But we're not a bit as big of a platform as I would like as of yet.
Yeah.
I was very pleased and excited when I got the email that they wanted me to attend. So I did attend the press conference. I saw a lot of people that, I've looked up to in this community, people that I haven't seen in years at the press conference. There was a lot of boxing um, podcasts and platforms there, of course, because
Mm-hmm.
there's a big fight weekend here in Las Vegas, and Logan Paul brings in those people as well. So I was pretty close to the stage during the press conference, and everyone knew that there was going to be like one-on-one interview opportunities, but they didn't know who with. So
Okay.
they had Logan Paul, they had Triple H, and then they had Roman Reigns in the middle. So I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of Logan Paul. Like I don't really see the appeal
Mm-hmm.
personally. I mean, I get on a professional standpoint why
Yeah.
they use him, but I don't necessarily like him that much.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I respect Triple H, but I knew based on my listenership that Roman Reigns was the way to go. So I stood in line for maybe 30, 45 minutes. I had people cutting in front of me, like there were bigger platforms there. They did their thing. They took up a lot of the time, and I was getting very anxious. I was like, if anything happens today, please let me interview Roman Reigns, please. And when I went up there, it finally happened. It was quick, but he gave a very thorough answer. I asked him a question. I asked Paul Heyman a question. They were very nice. Um, and I was just like, I left and I was just like, holy shit, like that just actually happened. Because, like you think about, oh, it would be so cool to interview Roman Reigns, but
Yeah.
like standing next to this man, like actually interviewing him and then going back and watching the video and listening to the audio, I'm like, that actually happened. Like, I think today it's kind of finally setting in because last night I was still kind of like, wow, what happened today? Um, so yeah, I'm planning on putting out that video and audio this week. Very excited. I really do appreciate the people that, shared their kind words and, were very kind. It just meant a lot to me, and I'm really looking forward to seeing everyone's reaction to the actual video and audio itself.
Yeah. I mean, it's not every day that like someone like me and my friends we interact with is interviewing the champion in probably the biggest wrestling company in the world right now. And that's an incredible opportunity, and I'm so proud of you for doing that.
Thank you.
Uh, that's a goal to eventually get there for me, but I'm fine with this for now. I get to talk to other people who get to do cool shit, so I get to live vicariously through you guys. This is why
You
I'm
will get
here.
there one day. You will
Oh,
definitely get there one day.
well, thank you. I appreciate it. So let's talk wrestling one down. How did you get your start in wrestling podcasting of all things?
So the podcast actually began, the idea formulated in 2018. I actually started the podcast with one of my college friends. She was on Twitter. I didn't have Wrestling Winedown at the time, so I was on my personal Twitter, and she tweeted about Monday Night Raw.
Mm-hmm.
And we had classes together. We would talk, but we never knew that both of each other liked wrestling. So when she said that, I was like, "You like wrestling?" And she was like, "Yeah, do you?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then, she would tweet, when it was on TV or whatever, and I would kind of go back and forth with her, and then we would talk about it in person as well. And then this was around the time where it seemed like podcasts were starting to increase the amount that you had in the market.
Mm-hmm.
Call Her Daddy had just came out. It was extremely huge. And my friend was like, "What if we did a podcast?" And I was like, "Well, I don't really listen to podcasts, but I'll explore and see what's out there." So I did that, and I realized professional wrestling is full of men podcasters. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there was barely any female podcasters. If I remember correctly, I think those wrestling girls had maybe just started. But there wasn't female representation.
Yeah.
So that was one reason why I really wanted to go into this, was because I know there's, young girls or women who enjoy professional wrestling who, they're looking for someone that might look like them or might sound like them or have the same viewpoints as them.
Mm-hmm.
You get tired of listening to guys argue and yell all the time. So we wanted to be that podcast where it's like you're hanging out with your girlfriends and going over what happened in wrestling, whether it's, wrestling results or rumors or results or interviews. We wanted to be that platform. So that's kind of where the wind down came in, because you're winding down your week. So when we realized that we want to do a podcast, I was like, okay, it's great to talk about wrestling, but we need something else to tie in. My friend loves beer, and I was like,
Oh.
I don't drink beer. Like, I can't do it. And I was like, well, what about wine? And then I actually came up with the name Wrestling Wine Down. I still have the text where I sent it in all caps. I was like, this is what we're gonna name it. And wind down, even though, winding down, it actually came from SmackDown, so we just took SmackDown, put wine in there.
Okay.
So that was at the end of 2018, and both my friend and I are very particular. We both went to school for journalism. We both worked in PR, so we wanted it to be as perfect as we possibly could make it. So um, my friend Fior took our photos, our marketing photos. She made our intro and outro music. My friend Joy made our logo, and then my co-host and I would create the different graphics that everybody would see. So we kind of, from late 2018 to August 2019, just planned and got everything together. I think we had 2 or 3 episodes banked to put out when we first came out, and we debuted that weekend of WrestleMania in 2019. And ever since then, my co-host has stepped away. She moved to Seattle. She's launched her own podcast coaching business, as well as her own podcast. But it's just been me. I have Iridian Fiero, who helps with social media, some of the stuff there, but it's me editing, getting guests, interviews, making graphics, interacting on Twitter. So this is my baby. I really do love being in this community, and it's really helped me to network with a lot of amazing, talented individuals, and also, be able to interview people that I look up to, or people that I'd love to work with in the future or meet in person one day.
Yeah, you're a one woman machine over there. I didn't know it was just you. I've seen like pictures and stuff with you and I don't want to butcher her name. How do you say her name?
Iridian.
Iridian. Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful name. I just was like, I think okay. She's great too. Like having her on as like your social media or
Mm-hmm.
for the most part.
Yeah.
It's smart and women helping women and obviously I love that. I love the I always like asking people like why and how they came up with their ideas and everything, and that encapsulates you perfectly, I think. I mean, the men thing, I get. I'm in
Right.
group chats with all men basically. Love them all to pieces, but sometimes it is just like me. I am the sole
Right.
female voice, uh, but I definitely agree with you. It was 99.9% men podcasting about wrestling. Even like probably until like 2021, I didn't really see a lot of like female or all female podcasts popping up, which it's crazy it took that long, but now we're gonna taking over the world.
Right. Absolutely. And that every time I go on Twitter, it seems like there's someone new, specifically a woman who's, whether it's, looking to go into wrestling media, whether it's, writing on a website or doing a podcast or doing a YouTube channel. And, that makes me proud because I think back to when I first started, or even when I first started watching wrestling, like that
Hmm.
female representation wasn't there. And now we have women, all over the world, all different races who are so eager to talk about wrestling and show their journey within this community that I think it's so great. And I think we can only go up from here.
I agree 100%. Now, I could be wrong on the number. You have about 91 ish episodes out of Wrestling Winedown. I
Yeah.
went on Apple Music. I was like, please tell me how many. I was like, it's gotta tell me somewhere. um, so do you have any favorite episodes of the 91 ish you have done?
I have a couple. My one episode that I did with Victoria, also known as Lisa Marie Varon, will be one of my favorites forever because I grew up watching her
Mm-hmm.
and she was extremely personable. She was really nice. She was very gracious with her time and she was very thorough. And I think a lot of people they get nervous when they, meet people that they've watched on TV for so long, but I had no nerves with her. And I've met her since in person and she was just so kind. And whenever she always interacts with my stuff, and I really do appreciate it because there are some people, famous people that you interview and they kind of, do the interview and you never hear from them again.
Yep.
And the fact that she, is able to connect with her fans and is very reachable on social media is something that I really respect a lot, even though I already respected her and her in ring work. Um, Andrea, I interviewed her for the first episode of The Life of a Wrestling Fan that I did a couple months ago. So, The Life of a Wrestling Fan is a series that I do where I interview individuals that have these amazing careers that are not related to wrestling, but they're wrestling fans. So, Andrea is an executive producer. She's worked for MTV, VH1. She was at the Met Gala this year. She worked that. But she's also a professional wrestling fan, and she's been able to intertwine her love of wrestling with her job. So she's been able to meet her hero, Shawn Michaels, in the capacity of working for MTV. She's met The Miz and all these other superstars and been able to, showcase her love of wrestling while still at work.
Yeah.
This series actually spawned because of her. I wanted to interview her because her career is something that I wanted to do when I was like 15 or 16. I wanted to be on MTV. I wanted to have my own MTV show. And when I saw her on Twitter and she was a wrestling fan, I'm like, oh my God. I said, I really want to learn about her career. I get that she's a wrestling fan. We could talk about that. But we need to know how her career started, how she's doing, how she's been able to intertwine these things. And that's how I came up with The Life of a Wrestling Fan. And we've had episodes since. I've had Mimi Shells on the show, who was a former executive assistant at WWE. She also worked at Moet Hennessy, and now she works at Meta Facebook as a project manager. She was incredible to have on the show. And then I have some other episodes coming up soon for The Life of a Wrestling Fan that are even more interesting. These individuals have these amazing careers. That's what's great about the wrestling community is that there's so many individuals that you see them online and you're not sure what they do in their everyday life, but there's a lot of people who are doing such cool things
Yeah.
offline. And
Mm-hmm.
it's been great that these individuals have felt comfortable sharing their, professional life with me as well as, their hobby or their second occupation being in professional wrestling media or as a fan.
Yeah, I love that idea of that being a podcast, part of your podcast. That's what I was trying to say. That's kind of why I started doing this. It's because yeah, everyone has a podcast, but like, how did they get their start? What do they like to do? Do they have favorite episodes? Like, and it's just getting to know people on a different level because you see
Hmm.
everyone online, and then talking to them face to face, in quotes, or physically face to face. They're either completely different or they're all the same, and some people don't show everything online.
Hmm.
So then they actually are like, well, I portray this, but this is actually how I am. I know a lot of people who I've met personally who are like that. They're like, oh, I'm just a character online. Like, ignore that. I'm just me. I'm just a normal person. So I love that. And Victoria, I love her. So I would freak out internally. I would try and like keep it as calm as possible, but she's one of the people who deserves way more credit than she gets.
Absolutely.
Victoria for the Hall of Fame 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone, if you're listening, let's make it happen, please. I'll promote the hell out of that. Can we start a petition? What do we gotta do?
I feel like we can. Every year her name comes up. Her and
Every
Melina
year,
come up and it's like, okay, what are we doing here? Like, what are we waiting for? She's right there. Come on.
literally right there. Just do something.
She lives in California, so the Hall of Fame will be in California. So you don't even have to pay for airfare.
It all makes
Just send a
sense.
car.
Just send her a nice car. Give her a special space. We're not asking for a lot here, guys. Triple H, are you listening? Steph, who we got to talk to? So on these incredible episodes that you do of all of the things I said you do, have there been any unexpected moments, things that made you like bust out laughing, things where you're just like, oh no, and like kind of had to like switch it on the spot, anything like that pop up?
Off the top of my head, no. I typically do just I keep a little bit of the laughter in the episodes, but I laugh a lot, so I try and cut a little bit of it out. But um I mean any episode that I do with Iridian, I feel like we cackle a lot. Um we play off of each other, so I feel like I'll say something and then she'll say something. She's caught me off guard with some of the stuff she said before, and it makes me laugh. But I've never had anything that I've been like, oh crap, like I can't air that or anything like that. Thankfully, all of my guests have been very respectful. I've been able to, whether it's, they curse and I bleep it out or anything like that. It hasn't been anything where I'm like, okay, I have to nix the whole episode. I've had episodes where like my audio has gone out on one end, so I can't air it. That's the only thing. But, obviously that's not anyone's fault. That's
Yeah.
technology's fault. But that's honestly the only thing I can think of. And I'm very graciously like I'm very appreciative of that because I know other people have experiences where they get on there and they're like, oh crap, this just happened, like what do I do, or this person said this or this person said that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thankful that I've been able to bring guests in that are comfortable and that have made it a comfortable space for not only themselves but myself as well.
Yeah. The laughing, I get it. I I have episodes I've been on other people's shows where I also laugh at everything, which doesn't help. So I just want to show that I'm listening and I laugh and you're probably funny people. So I get that 100%, and especially if you get like a connection with someone and you
Right.
both start laughing, it's game over.
Right.
100% game over. And the technology, that's probably one of the worst parts about podcasting, is technology is a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
It
for
really
sure.
just I was trying to do a show like 2 weeks ago and my OBS decided to just not work at all, and I was like, oh, that's fine, I go live every week, it's fine, I don't need this or anything, right? Like, terrible times. But besides wrestling Winedown and interviews, what other hobbies do you have?
I love to travel. I feel like recently I've just been traveling for wrestling shows, but I love to travel. I think Chicago is, such a beautiful city, and I've been able to go there a couple times for wrestling shows. Love LA, Arizona. I would love to go international. I've been in Mexico. That was the first thing that I had crossed off my put in my passport, I guess you should say. But I would love to go to like England or London or Cabo or, I have a whole list. What else do I enjoy? Online shopping, probably buying wrestling shirts. I love going to the little markets that they have here in downtown Las Vegas where there's like local creators, that sell their art or jewelry, etc. I like going to those. And then, of course, Mimosa Mommy. I love to go to brunch.
I love seeing your posts about mimosas because they're always the most relatable things. I love, you can't pass up a good mimosa.
You really can. But you know what? Sometimes you go to those restaurants and they're like, we don't do bottomless mimosas, but we'll give you one for 15. And I'm kind of like, you may as well just do a specialty cocktail at that point because it's the same damn price. Or
Honestly.
there's, I really enjoyed um, the out of the ordinary mimosas. So like, you have the typical OJ and champagne, but
Yeah.
I like, like the lavender, passion fruit, mango, like there's such a wide option of juices to put with champagne. I feel like you cannot go wrong. Um, yeah, I want a mimosa
I know. I literally went to brunch this morning, and it was like some little diner, so they didn't have mimosas at all. I was like,
now.
I,
Jail.
jail, immediate jail. But lavender, I never would have thought about that.
So I actually went to a hotel in San Diego that I was staying at, and they do brunch. So I
Mm-hmm.
went originally with my friends like a couple years ago, and they had like lavender, OJ, I think they had watermelon, but that lavender hit like no other. And I've gone back since and it's so good. It's like a lavender lemonade. And
Okay.
I've learned how to make it at home. Like I don't even need to go to San Diego anymore. I'll make it at home. It is so good. All you need is like lavender syrup, like the kind that you get off Amazon. It's the same brand that they use at Starbucks, like the Starbucks branded syrups, and
Yeah.
then just lemonade. And then mix it together, put that in, put the champagne in, and you have a lavender lemonade mimosa.
I hope everybody was taking notes. Everyone, keep your recipes. Get your recipe books out. Write it down. That's so smart. Oh, and my friend loves lavender. Oh, next time I go over, we're gonna have to make lavender mimosas. It's gotta happen now. It's gotta be a thing. Thank you for telling me your secrets of the
You're very
mimosas.
welcome.
I need it. So this is something I always like asking people, and because I'm always curious about their response. Do you remember like the table for threes that the network used to put on?
Yes.
They still kind of do, but they really don't ever promote them, and I never know they're out. So if you could have your own dinner with any three wrestlers, dead or alive, who are you picking and why?
Oh my goodness. Okay. So three plus me or
Yeah, so
three
it's you and
altogether?
then three other people. So
Okay,
it's your number
I'll
four.
start off with Willow Nightingale. I'm so obsessed with Willow. She is so beautiful. She wrestles so well. Every time I see that she is on Rampage or Dynamite or any type of AEW show, I must watch it. I had the opportunity to see her live, I think May or June, and I met her as well. And I was so nervous meeting her. Iridian was there with me. I was like, I can't, I'm so nervous. Like, and I'm never like that. Like, I'll get a little bit anxious, I'm like, oh, what am I gonna say? Like, oh,
Yeah.
but she's just so radiant in her. You ever see someone and they just radiate happiness and joy? That's her.
Yep.
And I just love that because I feel like in this community, it's so often that we see people that are just negative or like don't have that type of energy. And the fact that she's able to always radiate that and she's just so damn good in the ring, definitely her. The second one won't shock you. Wardlow.
The War Daddy himself? No,
Yes,
so shocked.
that. I think Wardlow is doing such an incredible job in AEW right now. And, obviously he's TNT champion, but he's done so well. And I think that, anyone that has really watched AEW for a while will love his progression from being MJF's bodyguard to now being a champion in the company.
Yeah.
And I only see things going up from here for him. I think he has an incredible fan reaction. He seems like a very nice guy. He is a nice guy. I met him at FanFest, but um he's very captivating. Like obviously he gets that female demo, which of course AEW needs and wants.
Yep.
So I mean, he would be the perfect person. I just want to know like what kind of wine he likes. Why has he not responded to my message about being wrestling wine down? And like how he feels about all of this female attention. Because I mean, it seems like he's eating it up. The girlies love it. I'm sure he loves it, but I just want to know from like a performer aspect, like
Yeah.
how he enjoys that, how he's able to, play into it, right? My third one, it's a hard one.
Yeah, people usually have issues with like the last trying to get their last one.
I would say Jazz. Um,
Okay.
I think Jazz had such an incredible run in the WWE that is not talked about enough.
Mhm.
And, she's done stuff in the independents. The last time I checked, she was on her retirement tour. But I think the most interesting thing about Jazz is that she has really taken on the role of teaching the next generation of wrestlers,
Mhm.
how to be in the ring, how to train them, stuff like that. And that's very admirable because you see a lot of people leave the business and they kind of just like, peace out, I'm leaving. Like, screw the next generation. They don't care. They're done with their
Exactly.
thing. Very selfish, but I feel like she's been very selfless because she's been able to train these future wrestlers, whether they, stay on the independents or they go into a bigger company. And, she still wrestles time to time, but she has that energy that I just need at that table. Like, the bitch is back and the bitch is black, and I need her there.
That would be such a cool table to just like sit from afar and watch and like kind of like people want like I would just need to listen to the conversation. I'll be your waitress for God's sake, so just so I can kind of just occasionally get a good combo. And the with Willow, she does just seem like a walking ball of sunshine, like happiness in a person. So,
I
yeah.
could probably compare her to like Bailey, like OG Bailey, like very just like spunky and energetic and um I just love it.
Yeah, she's definitely like on my list of people I would like to meet. I almost had the chance to meet Wardlow, and I didn't, and I'm still mad at myself. I know.
Oh my God.
I th-
No, he was very nice. I haven't shared the video and I don't know if I will, but I'm like he has a War Daddy shirt now. He has a War Daddy shirt, he has a Powerbomb Symphony shirt now. He was extremely nice. He was like, "Yeah, I've seen the War Daddy shirts." I'm like, "I know you have."
no, you.
Like
I need to get the Powerbomb Symphony one. I keep forgetting to.
Yes.
I got to. And then AEW released a Pin Me War. Like, what are we doing
You know
here?
what? I have to say that was not. I feel like that was like a Nyla Rose slash Low thing because she was the one that originally put up like, I need a shirt that says "Pin Me Wardlow,"
Mm-hmm.
and obviously I was doing the 1-800 War Daddy, but I don't really know if anyone knows this, but like he actually called himself War Daddy first, and he deleted the tweet,
I saw.
so I just ran with it. Um, this was when he was doing his whole back and forth with MJF. He hashtagged War Daddy, and I was like, what? And then I was like, I went to go try and find the tweet and it was gone. I just happened to have notifications on for some reason. And I was like, what if I made this into a shirt? And then I went home and I worked my magic and that's how I came about. So thank you, Wardlow. Thank you for tweeting and deleting that day.
Thank you, the god himself, Wardlow. The luscious man. I think it's the lips. I don't know what it is about him.
I just feel like he's a very nice dresser. I think
That
what
too.
is that's very great about him. Like, and I know he's very inspired by Dave Bautista, so I'm sure that kind of plays
Oh
into
yeah.
it. But like, I think the men and women, like when they're not in their wrestling clothes, it's really interesting, or wrestling gear, I should say. It's really interesting to see like what they wear. So
Yeah.
like, even Ethan Page as well, which I have on Ethan Page. Um, Ethan Page is a phenomenal dresser as well. I told him the other day over Twitter, I was like, I'm gonna call you Sally because you be dressing, or call him
I
Rance
saw
because he be
that.
dressing. And he liked it. And I was like, I know that's right, Ethan. Like, you continue doing your thing. He dresses well. Wardlow dresses well. Scorpio Sky is another really great dresser.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I feel like that is so important in professional wrestling. Like when you're not in your wrestling gear, like what are you wearing? Like we see people run out to the ring and they have on their little jeans and they might have on like a black t-shirt, they might have on their merch, and you're kind of like, okay, but when you see Wardlow in a suit or you see Ethan Page in a button up and some nice pants, you're like, okay, he's rocking it. Let me pay attention to this. For me, I guess, because I'm so big on like, what people wear in fashion and, gear and stuff like that. Maybe that's why I'm so interested in it, but that man can dress.
That man can dress. I think anytime I see the dress pants and the dress shirt, at one point he's ruining a lot of dress shirts, but he's just
Yeah.
how many dressers? That's the question. How many dress shirts does Wardlow go through in like a month?
You know what I really want to ask him? other than the other questions, was I was on this autograph signing like 2 months ago with him, and I don't know. I don't know what happened. I must have missed something, but this girl bought the shirt off of his back and he signed it. And I was like, does this happen
What?
often? Yes. Yes. I think she paid like 150 for it. And she was like going back and forth with the guy who was running the autograph signing. And he's like, okay, like sing your money. He's going to give you the shirt. He took his shirt off and he signed it right there. I think he even sprayed his own cologne on it. He's like, I want the shirt to smell like me when she gets it. Yes. And I was like, I have never seen anything like this before.
Oh, that man is such a marketing genius. It's not fair. And that is why he has the female demographic in the palm of his huge hands. So another these other these last questions I always like again hearing people's answers. Do you have any advice for anyone looking to get into podcasting? Just general life advice? Any advice you want to give to anyone listening or watching this?
I would say if you are looking to start a podcast, I would just start it. I think a lot of people have apprehension about getting into a podcasting world because there's a lot of podcasts out right now. It's very saturated, but I think if you're passionate about it and, you put your best foot forward, why not try it? There's a lot of things in life, people don't try and they look back years later and they're like, I wish I would have done that. So why regret something that, it's just so easy to do, whether, you're just starting at home or you have the capability to go to a studio or something like that. Why not just try it and see if you like it? If you don't, that's fine. But I think just try it, just see how it goes. I think another thing is that, this is it's a very big community, but there's a lot of people that know each other. So, being kind is the way to go. I think a lot of people sometimes they think, once they get to a certain point within their career or within their podcast, they don't have to be nice anymore. But,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you should be nice. You started at one point. You may have started, at the bottom, or you might have started in the middle. It doesn't matter where you started from. I think everyone deserves respect, whether they're, a man, a woman, non-binary, etc. Treat people how you want to be treated. Um, Life advice, I mean, I think time management is extremely important in any field that you're in, whether you're a podcaster or you have kids or anything. So, really knowing how to manage your time, whether it's using a calendar or blocking out your schedule, stuff like that is extremely important. Whether, like I said, if you're a podcaster, you're just, not a podcaster at all.
Time management is definitely a big one. Uh, as I told you, like right before, oh yeah, this comes out tomorrow, but it's just how it like ended up like falling into place, and I wasn't really stressing about it because I knew this would be great, and I have the day off anyways tomorrow, so I have plenty of time to just like put it up and do everything. But time management for sure is one of the biggest things. I know I still like I have like I write everything down, like all my notes for my show, just because typing is. I already have two computers on me when I do a live show. I don't want
Right.
another screen to just constantly look at. So it's like I do that. Like I have a calendar. I have my phone calendar, but still, every once in a while, just something slips by, and you're like, oh no, you were supposed to work. Why did you
It's
not?
okay, but you can't beat yourself up about it. Like, I think also, too, like, you have to handle yourself with grace. I think that's another thing that I would give advice on, especially in this community. I think people are so passionate and they're trying to put out all of this content and stuff like that. But sometimes you really have to, handle it with grace and, worry about your mental health and stuff like that before putting out an episode or a YouTube video. I think, yeah, it's important to put out content, especially if you're a content creator or podcaster, whatever you're doing. But you also need to figure out, like, hey, am I okay? Like, do I need a mental health day? Do I need to take a break from podcasting, etc.? Like, you really need to listen to yourself and not overwork yourself.
Yeah, mental health is, I always say, like, that's more important than physical health. And every show I do since we started about a year ago doing ShElite on its own, I've had the crisis text line and the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline on screen, and they're usually the first two lines in the description. After like the description of the episode, I usually like a line, and then
Right.
those are like the first two things you see, and then the description. I was a social work major in college, so like that's very much what I strive for. You always got to make sure you're okay before making sure everyone else is okay. If
Right.
you like your mental health is priority number one, always.
Period.
Period. See, you get it. You get it. So, if you had to write an autobiography of your life from like this point, it can be about your entire life, a section, what have you. What would be the title? And if you would like to tell me why, you can. If you do not want to, that's perfectly fine as well.
So I think I would do it based on this podcasting part of my life and beyond. So I would call it Beyond the Wind Down. Um, and just kind of go into, how the podcast started, the different guests that we've had, the different experiences that we've had, traveling to different shows, and then, what happens after that, also what happens, on a daily basis of, maintaining a social media accounts and, interacting with people. And I would also include in there probably like, advice to other women who are, in this wrestling podcast sphere. Because I said recently on an interview, like, sometimes these men get on the internet and they say a lot of rude stuff or they act a certain way. And thankfully, I haven't had a lot of those interactions. And if I do, I might entertain it for a minute and then I block them. But,
Mm-hmm.
there are women out there that it really does eat them alive when a man thinks that he knows more than them in this community. And that really hurts me. I try my best. I know it's probably not my place, but, sometimes when I see these interactions happen, I will say something because I feel like you're doing this all on the timeline. We all see it. Like, I might say something if it's way out of control, I might
Mm-hmm.
not say anything and I might just kind of, DM the person if I know them. But, I feel like we have to stand together as women
Yes.
because there are so many men just waiting for us to just fall so they could be like, well, I told you so. She didn't know her shit. Like, we can't have that. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm very thankful that I've been able to connect with other women in this community like yourself and, Iridian and Teddy and Casey Leando and Brittany Sacco and more that, you know, are strong women who are positive, who, connect well with each other and are there for you, whether it's to ask a question or just to provide support.
Yeah. Like that's kind of just been like the theme throughout us talking is like women podcasters, women in the wrestling community, especially on Twitter, because Twitter is a toxic cesspool, but also how I found some of my closest friends, so it's kind of just like all over the place. Women have to stick together. Like, I, there's two people I know who were dealing with this very sexist man, like, who has constantly made comments to both of them, like, over the period of, like, multiple months, and he just like kept going back and forth, and I just saw a bunch of women responding to that thread being like, no, 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 listen here, buddy, this is not gonna happen. And I ended up DMing one of them. I was like, so what is going on, because I didn't know the
Right.
whole situation. And she told me, and I was like, that's an actual scumbag. I'm sorry you have had to deal with this for this long. And it sucks when you can't, like, do anything. Like, you can be there, and that's definitely one of the biggest things, but it also kind of sucks when you're just like, I just wish I could help them more than I
Yeah.
already am.
Right.
So it just be nice people. That's
I know. That needs to be the next shirt. Just be nice. Damn it.
be nice, damn it, smiley face. Which your merch, not even a question, your merch designs are so cute.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm wearing the War Daddy fan club shirt because we're low, but the one you just put out, the Isle of Lucy inspired one,
Hmm.
genius. It's so cute. I mean, I mainly only wear like blacks, so having like a black solid color and then like cute colors on top of it, smart. You're a genius.
So yeah, thank you. That shirt actually was spawned from one of my friends who had me make something for her for All Out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she's posted yet, but it's the same design, but it's different wording on it. And the act like that was the first design I did, but the actual idea came from the tweet about Daniel Garcia, how bad bitches love Daniel Garcia. And I was like, bad bitches do like Daniel Garcia, but I was like, bad bitches also love professional wrestling in general. So I was like, okay. And then, I had the heart already and I was like, okay, let's just add that in. And then I just went with it. I really strive to make designs that women like. When I first started with the 1-800 War Daddy, the whole reason why I created that was because I love him as a performer, but I hate his merch. Like
Yeah.
I don't like it. It's not my taste.
Yeah.
And um I've seen a lot of other superstars and wrestlers that I absolutely love watching them in the ring, but I don't like the merch that they
Yeah.
have up on their respective shops. So I was like, I'm just gonna create something and see what happens. Obviously, I was nervous because cease and desist, but thankfully, it doesn't have his name on it, so that one does, but the other one doesn't. So I've been able to sell it, and a lot of the women, and I've had men buy it as well, really love it because it's different from like what you see on, the shop
Yeah.
or somewhere else. It doesn't have the green, which I incorporated the green in the Powerhouse Symphony one, but the other ones have the pink because I want something different. I don't like the green and the gray all the time. Let's add a little bit other, some other colors in there that you might not necessarily see on a company's website.
That is a common theme I have seen over the past 2 years. Is these like fantastic wrestlers have such shit merch, like, and then I see like you and other people like designing merch for their own podcasts, who like they're well above and beyond what these shops can make, and like these people have like teams who do it,
Yeah.
and then it's just like usually just like a block, like right here, and then like nothing around it. Not, I.
I will say, AEW and WWE have had some recently where I'm like, okay, y'all might be reading the room a little bit better. Like, there were a couple in WWE I saw recently where I was like, I would actually buy that. And then, obviously the War Daddy shirt, that one stuck out to me because, obviously they're reading the room. They know what his demographic is and they know that would sell well.
Mhm.
But like I'm not a fan of the acclaimed, but like that Scissor Me Daddy ass shirt, like it's nice. It's nice. I would wear that. I don't know where I would wear it to. I wouldn't necessarily wear it to like Target or anything like that, but it's nice. It's different from what they usually put out. So I definitely like keep in tune of, what these different companies put out, but I definitely always think that they could do better when it comes to merch.
Oh, they always can do better. And the Scissor Me Daddy ass shirt is one of the funniest things I have seen in so long. It brings me. I want to buy one just to literally wear it like while I'm wandering around the house. Like I'll sleep. I'll get like the biggest size possible and just sleep in it,
Yeah.
just to support them because like I love Anthony Bowens. He's done incredible work. And I saw he tweeted something the other day. I don't remember how long ago it was. Somebody was asking about like getting scissors, like foam scissors or
Oh my
something,
God.
on the shop, and he was like, "I just had a meeting. I'll let you guys know how it goes." I'm like, if they're
Oh
gonna put
wow.
out those, I'm definitely buying a pair. Because that's like it's different, it's unique. John Cena a long time ago. I'm a big Cena stan.
I am too.
He had like the hands, and
He
you
did.
could put all the fingers on those Velcro. I still
Yep.
have them. Like, I don't remember how long I got them, but that's unique. And he used to have like the chain gang chains, which I also still
Yep.
have. Which people in I was in Vegas for Money in the Bank, and people were
Hmm.
asking me where I bought it. I was like, "This is from like 2005, bro. I'm sorry they don't have this on the shop." Like, they
Gotta
should.
keep those items. They come back. I was just thinking a couple months ago because I had done a cosplay of like Lita and the Hardys for like SummerSlam 2 years ago when they were here in Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, damn it. Like I know I had that Hardy Boys logo necklace when I was like 11 or 12, but I got rid of it, right? So I was like, that would have been perfect. And they don't sell it anywhere anymore. So I'm like, oh, okay. But recently it's been really interesting here. I've been seeing a lot of people in like throwback shirts. I think I went to Grab House a couple weeks ago, or it might have been another event, and someone had on like a retro Hardy Boys shirt, like the one where they're both on the back and they're like facing each other.
Oh
And
yeah.
I was like, damn, I haven't seen that one in so long. But obviously that's a WWE creation, so it's like we're probably never gonna get it back unless they go in the Hall of Fame one day.
Which they probably will.
Will happen, I think.
It, there's a lot of people who should be in the Hall of Fame. There's a lot of people who do not belong in the Hall of Fame anymore. That's
Absolutely.
that's a whole nother conversation. We can have a whole episode just about that. Like I said, this is coming out tomorrow. Any future plans for Wrestling Winedown over the next few weeks you want to talk about, or you can leave people in suspense? Completely up to you.
Yes, so I will be at New York Comic Con on the 7th or 8th. I am speaking on a panel in regards to people or women of color in wrestling. So I am going to be on the panel with Stephanie Hardy, Shay Sawyer, um, Hearts on Twitter, Karen Bam Bam, she's a wrestler, and then In Cat We Trust is hosting it. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's my first time ever going to Comic Con, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be able to travel out there, go to New York for the first time, and share my experiences in this community. So that's something big to look forward to. We will also be rebranding soon, probably around that weekend as well. So obviously when I first started wrestling Winedown, it was me and my friend. So, a lot of the sound and, the photos and the logo was a joint effort. And, now I've been doing this for almost 2 years by myself. And, I interact with a lot of people on Twitter. People know how I am. And I really just want to encapsulate that into the actual brand as a whole. So be getting a new logo, new intro and outro music, but the show will still remain the same because obviously I've been hosting it, and it's going to sound the same. Um, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, and then obviously new merch will come with that. Really looking forward to that as well. And then obviously new episodes. Haven't released an episode in a minute, but we'll put the Roman Reigns stuff out. We have a new The Life of a Wrestling Fan coming out as well, and then a panel that I'm really looking forward to that I hosted a couple months ago via Zoom that I think everyone will really want to listen to.
Okay, okay. Look at you making friggin' moves. I saw that you were talking at New York Comic Con, and I forgot to tell you. That's fucking awesome, dude.
Thank you.
That's again, that's so cool that in your mind, not necessarily you, but in your mind, you're just like, oh, I have a little wrestling podcast. It does well. It does this, but now I'm going to be speaking on a panel in New York at Comic Con. That's so. You're just having a good year, baby. You really are.
I really have to thank In Cat We Trust for the opportunity because that's something that she put together, and I know there's been other podcasts or um individuals in the community who have had different panels at Comic Con, and from what I know from our community, I think this is one of the first where it's all women of color, and I think it's just exceptional. It's something that is obviously needed in our community, and I hope, pray, everything in between that there is a virtual link or it is filmed so that if people are not there in attendance, they can watch it after because this is an important conversation, and I feel like even if you aren't a person of color, it's something that you should definitely watch and tune into.
Oh, 100%. And like you said, it's definitely needed. The conversations that you guys are probably going to have are going to be, eye opening to people. And yeah, I'm going to be trying to find a link to that if they film it because. And if they don't film it, then that is just a missed opportunity to put you guys out there even more.
Right, yeah. I will make sure it's filmed.
I feel like panels are usually filmed at Comic Cons, right?
There is a link on the Comic-Con website, but since there are different panels going on at once, I'm not sure which one they'll choose to air. I think that's where the issue is right now and figuring out if it'll be on or not. But we'll see. We'll see.
Hey, you say the word, I will drive to New York. I will film it on myself. I'll make myself a little media pass. I'll sneak in. I'll do whatever I gotta do. The people need it. So for the past 50-ish minutes, I've been asking you questions. We've been having a great conversation. Do you have any questions for me? Podcasting, personal. I'm an open book. I usually answer anything. The only thing I will not really answer is how I got my start. The past few people have asked me like in a row, so but I can also just tell you after the fact if you would like to know.
So, what advice would you give to podcasters that are looking to enter the wrestling community?
So usually it's usually the same, like just start it. Um Sometimes you just got to shoot your shot. Uh I put out a tweet and 2 years ago and it spawned to this. It really it depends like on the people you end up meeting. Usually if you're enjoying it or it's something you feel like you said passionate about, just start it. Like,
All
and it
right.
doesn't matter if nobody listens, it doesn't matter if nobody watches. Over time, and that's another thing, is not everything will happen at once.
Right.
That's definitely a big thing. I didn't come into this thinking, all right, I'm gonna have 100 subscribers in the first month of me doing this. No, it took about a year to get the 100 on YouTube. Yeah, about a year, little less than. So it's a process. It's a work. It definitely takes time, but if it's something you like doing, I always say this is like the little bit of serotonin I get in my day when I get the
Mm.
podcast. Whether
Mm-hmm.
it's this, the weekly show I do, being on other people's podcasts, like I usually am almost every week because I can't get enough. It's fun for me. I like to talk. As I would say, yeah, all of that. However, people want to dissect anything I just said, all of that is good advice, I think.
I think so as well.
You know?
My final question for you is who would you have on your table of three?
Okay, I feel like my answers will always change. One person for sure, Lita.
Mm.
That was my first like favorite female wrestler. Her, like, I was very much tomboy growing up, so everything she wore, the camo pants, the crop tops and the fishnets, iconic style, an iconic woman, killing it in the wrestling business. Like growing up, I was very much Team Lita over Team Trish, even though they're both fantastic. So Lita's definitely one. I think I gotta go John Cena because
Mm-hmm.
that's my childhood hero. I'm only 26, but like that's my hero. Like, that is like on my bucket list for ever in time. Is I would just like to meet him
Oh,
once.
yes, me too.
But
I'm like, are you going to be at New York Comic Con? Like, I
he
might
might
have a heart
be.
attack.
He might be. As I feel like he's.
I've looked. He's not on there yet.
You're like, I'm checking. We're making sure. He might make like a last minute appearance. Who knows? So Lita, Cena. Oh, that last one is hard. Yeah, I see why people struggle with this. Um, hmm. I'm gonna go Triple H.
Okay. You know what? It's interesting that you said that because I was like, what if she says Stephanie?
I
What if she says someone that is like on the back end of the wrestling business, like watching everything happen?
I
You're
almost
mine.
did say Steph. Yeah, we're right there. I almost said Steph. And she would definitely be like a pull up a chair, Steph. You can join too, kind of
Yeah.
thing. Like if I can't have her on the table, I'll bring her over. But Triple H would be interesting to talk about, like, or learn about like his entire career on both parts, like in ring and then out of the ring, basically taking over the company with your wife
Hmm.
after your father-in-law does some very questionable things, to put it lightly. So that NXT, because I was a big NXT kid, just all of that, and I think that'd be an interesting table to have.
Yeah.
I feel like that good conversations all around, maybe a lot of laughs, maybe some tension. Who knows? I thrive off it all. I feel like somebody asked me that like one of like episodes ago, and I think all of my answers were different. So
Hmm.
I don't think it'll ever be consistent. I think Lita and Cena might always be the two.
Yeah.
That third one might always be the, because like I could have
Game
workload.
time decision.
Yeah, definitely game time decision. I'd be like, I have the invitation. I have an hour to find somebody. It's gonna be very last minute on who I decide. But if you have nothing else for me, I would like to thank you again for doing this with me. I had a blast. This was so much fun. Tell the
Yes, thank you so much.
Oh, of course. This was in plans for a while, and I'm happy we finally got it set in stone and we got it done. But tell the people where they can find you. Obviously, with everything wrestling Winedown.
Yes, so you can find Wrestling Wind Down wherever you listen to your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play. We're on all of them. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at WWDCAST. We do have merch, including the 1-800 War Daddy shirt, Powerbomb Symphony, our Black Wrestling Queen shirt. Wine 316 is still up, and then we'll be having some other designs coming out soon. That website is shop.wrestlingwindownlv.com. Oh, and we're on TikTok too.
Uh,
WWDCAST.
I gotta get on TikTok. Like, I know, like I have a TikTok, but it's nothing wrestling related. So I feel like I gotta join the trend. I know a lot of podcasters are starting to do this.
Yes.
Man, I gotta get on the trend. Fall behind. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter at KatieRasson13. The link to my bio take you all things ShElite Showcase, twitch.tv/ShElite Showcase, typically Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern, unless something happens. YouTube.com/ShElite Showcase. I always say watch the videos because they're way more entertaining, and I do this a lot. I talk with my hands a lot. I'm very Italian, becomes part of it. Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, if you like to listen. Obviously, Inside the Mind of is Wrestling Winedown is your baby. This interview series is my baby. So people always say this is what they like most about ShElite. And I'm like, you like me talking to people. I'll take it. I'll take it. That's fine. As long as people like it and people get something out of it and they learn more about incredible people like yourself, that's all that really matters. I would like to thank everyone again for watching and listening. And we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.